Secretly recorded from deep inside the bowels of a decommissioned missile silo, we bring you the man, one single man who wants to bring light to the darkness and dark to the lightness. Although he's not always right, he is always certain. So now, with security protocols in place, the protesters have been forced back behind the barricades and the blast doors are now sealed. Without further delay, let me introduce you to the host of Hutcast, Mr. Tim Hutner.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. You can now take your post. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual and participants. These views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the host or the show. The opinions in this broadcast are not to replace your legal, medical, or spiritual professionals. Welcome to Hutcast. We were supposed to have launched on the 25th, but because of technical difficulties and I had to split town, Dr. Henry Ealy is now with us again, and hopefully I won't mess it up this time. Doc, you with me?
I'm with you, Tim. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time again out of your busy schedule, and we're going to just kind of melt you into this program. And then we're just going to kind of have that conversation that we should have had. So stand by, Hutcast. We'll be right back.
Is your patriotism showing? Freedom Flag and Pole has everything you need to display your American pride. Visit freedomflagandpole.com today to browse durable, high-quality flags to sturdy, easy-to-install flagpoles. Freedom Flag and Pole makes it simple to honor the red, white, and blue. Show your support for our nation, your community, or even your favorite holiday. Freedom Flag and Pole offers a wide variety of flags and sizes to fit any need. Visit them online at freedomflagandpole.com. That's freedomflagandpole.com to get your flag flying high.
Welcome back to Hutcast. Dr. Ealy. Dr. Ealy is on the phone. We had one prior scheduled. We had a snafu. Doc, you were on your way to that. What do you call that you were on your way to?
I was on my way to Dallas to go see Dr. Brian Artis. Hang out with him and his lovely wife, Jane. We had a mutual friend get married on Sunday, so we were like, yeah, let's just go to the wedding together. Gave me an excuse to go hang out with him for a couple of days and hear all of the crazy stories that he tells, So it was fantastic.
Right. Did you tell him that I hosed it up? And I was thinking he was on, and then he wasn't, then you were on, and like, oh, man. Hutcast was all messed up that weekend.
Yeah, I told him that there was a snafu and that we are going to redo on Tuesday, and here we are on that. Everybody was super understanding. It was no big deal.
Now, you were on your way to this symposium? Is that what you call it? Symposium?
No, just a wedding.
Oh,
I mean, might be an imposium from somebody's perspective, but no, just a wedding.
Because we had a heck of a conversation about what was going on in your guys' world. So why don't you fill us in and tell us the things we missed?
Well, there's a lot going on. Like the first thing we did this past weekend, we had the Virtual Solution Summit.
That's it.
And so the Virtual Solution Summit, Healing for the Ages, people that are following you right now can go to healingfortheages.com. We did a wonderful expose on the kitchen, the bedroom, then the bathroom, and of course the overall room. And I got very deeply into light and whatnot. One of the things that's blowing me away right now, Tim, is LED lights. We're getting sold that LED lights are the way to go. They're going to save you money and nothing. You don't have anything to worry about health-wise. But then when you actually hold a color spectrometer up against the LED lights, you see a phenomenon that you just don't see off incandescent bulbs. And I got a chance to test some incandescent bulbs this weekend. You see what we call blue spiking. So what you'll see is, like in the color spectra, you'll see this huge spike of just blue light mixed in there. And what that blue light spike does is it really throws off the body's innate circadian rhythms, what it does is the blue light stimulates the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system, and it creates a cortisol release. So that's no problem during the day. So, not really. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of these spikes, using light to influence how our body functions in the first place. But during the daytime, not a big problem, because when you're out in the sunlight, you're getting plenty of blue light, right? And that's just how it works.
Okay.
The problem with these LEDs really comes at night. You see, at night, we're not supposed to be getting really any blue light, and certainly not blue light spikes. And what that does when you start getting blue light spikes at night off of the LEDs is that it stimulates the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system to release cortisol much later in the day, when your body typically isn't releasing a lot of cortisol. And what that starts to do is it starts to throw off the entire circadian rhythm and sleep cycles. And this is why we see, like, according to the CDC, I've seen varying reports on this, but anywhere from 50 to 80 million Americans report some level of routine sleep disturbance, of insomnia. And with that, 83% of those Americans also report depression. So there's this incredible correlation between these LED lights dominating everything now, us being exposed to blue light at night, and now with that, us having our circadian rhythms thrown off and setting us up for depression, in addition to preventing our bodies from healing while we're sleeping. So it's really it's this one of these little small things that doesn't seem like it should be a very big deal, but it has tremendous repercussions. So that's something that I taught about over the weekend at the Virtual Solution Summit. And what we're exploring now is I actually have about 40 light bulbs on order. They just didn't arrive before I had to leave town. But I have 40 light bulbs or so coming in so that we can test these and see, are these going to be good things for us to put in our homes at night, so that we can better modulate the color spectrum of light that our bodies are being exposed to during the nighttime.
And what do you think that the biggest factor of the blue thing is? Because last time we talked, we're talking nanometers, 630 being instead red, and then you start going higher up in the EM bands to create this. So anything in the 8 nanometer range would be blues and ultraviolets.
Right. I keep going back to something that we stumbled upon in 2023.
Okay.
We were looking through the literature, on plasmids, and we were looking through the literature on, some of the bioweapons, and Dr. Artis found something that was just mind blowing. He found this plasmid that they took the whole protein structure for cobra venom, and they split it in half, and they put half of it in one plasmid and half of it in another plasmid. Now, for folks that don't know, plasmids are the genetic communication devices for microorganisms. So a microorganism, how they're going to share their genetic material is through something called plasmids. They're rings of DNA. So what these crazy scientists did was they said, well, let's take cobra venom, split it in half, and put half of that in one plasmid and half of it in another. And let's inject them separately into mice. So they injected one plasmid into a mouse, and nothing happened. And they injected the other plasmid into another mouse. Nothing happened, because it was only half of the code. But what was interesting was that in the third subset, the third cohort, they injected the mice with both halves of both plasmids, both halves of the cobra venom code. And what they proved, and I think this was back from 2009 or 1999. I mean, they've known how to do this for a while. What they found was that when they injected both plasmids, so that the mouse had the entire genetic code, the genetic code recombined in that mouse and formed cobra venom, and the mouse died within 6 hours.
Oh.
So they're working on some pretty nefarious stuff. And, we saw that. And then, once Dr. Artis found that, I went looking around through DARPA a little bit more, and we came across this one study that showed that they could start activating through optogenetics. They could start activating these plasmids at their beckoning call using different color spectra of light. And so one of the studies that we found was that blue light was the specific color spectra to activate the latent bioweapon. And so that's one of the things that I'm concerned about right now with the LEDs, is that if they can expose us through the air, through the water, through the food, through shots, to these bioweapons, well, what turns them on?
Right.
Preliminary research suggests that it's blue light spikes that can turn it on. And now you just start feeling bad and you don't even know why. You know what I mean? So, that's really concerning for me. Like how advanced their technology is very, very concerning. And that's why I think it's important for us to understand, okay, well, at night, we're not supposed to be getting a lot of blue light at all anyway. Why don't we create the artificial light in our home to mimic that experience so that it can help stimulate our parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system? We can get good sleep, and we're not activating any potential bioweapons that we didn't know that we had come in contact with.
We'll be back after a quick break.
License to explore with Rohit, where wanderlust meets wisdom. Imagine your next great adventure starting with a story. Welcome to License to Explore with Rohit, the podcast that unlocks the extraordinary. Venture beyond borders into the lives of explorers, creators, and nomads who redefine what it means to live boldly and purposefully. Discover life-changing journeys, untold travel secrets, and unfiltered conversations that inspire you to embrace the unknown. With new episodes every 10 days, we deliver powerful insights and captivating tales straight to your ears. Follow now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your audio escape. Your next journey is just a listen away.
Not playing conspiracy theorist, but do you believe that when they changed to blue lighting in the police and in the the highway department stuff, is this like a thing?
I think it is, and I keep it simple as I can, Tim. We know for a fact that we like to look at campfires. This is one of the studies I did, one of the experiments I did. I asked a simple question. Well, what if I hold this color spectrometer up to the sun? What color spectra come off the sun in the morning, when the sun rises, when the sun sets, in the afternoons, right? And now I know kind of what our bodies are designed to, what colors our bodies are looking for. And one of the things that was really interesting in doing that was during the day, we get exposed actually to a tremendous amount of green light. And it's the green light that stimulates a specific energy within our bodies. It stimulates love energy. That's what the Ayurvedics term the fourth chakra. The fourth chakra, the heart chakra, was green.
Okay.
So when we're out in the sun during the day, and especially when there's no chemtrails and things like that, we don't need a lot, but we get exposed to that sunlight. What's happening is we're stimulating heart energy. We're stimulating love energy. And it's like one of the things that we have a big deficit in the world right now is love.
Oh, for sure.
We're not stimulating ourselves with the right color light. So I looked at, well, what did we do? Like, Tim, before we started getting into cities and building all this electricity and all this other stuff, what did we do at night when we wanted to see something? We built fires.
Right?
Right? We just built fires, right? So I built a fire and I took a look at, well, what's the colors coming off the fire? And what was really interesting was that the colors coming off the fire are predominantly orange and red. There's no real yellow. There's a little yellow, but not much. But there isn't any real green, and there isn't any blue, and there isn't any violet. So at night, we're really not used to being exposed to blue light. We're used to being exposed to orange and red light. So when I did that experiment, and I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, we don't need blue light at night. And then you look at a LED that's spiking blue light at night. One of the color spectra that the LEDs do not put out is green light. And so now what we're talking about we have thrown in the last, and this is of course just the last 37 years that this has really been going down. We have thrown humanity's whole experience with light completely out of whack. And magically that results in sleep disturbances and insomnia and depression. And if you can't sleep, Tim, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, you can't heal. So now you're more susceptible to these genetic infections, especially if the blue light is what's being used to also activate them. So now, do you remember back in the day, Dukes, I'm talking Dukes of Hazzard for those of us that remember that, right? If a police vehicle put on their blue and red lights, it was no big deal. You didn't have to turn your eyes away. It didn't hurt your eyes to look at them. But now with these LEDs, I got to tell you, every time I have to look the other way while I'm driving by law enforcement, because the light, the intensity of the light and the color spectra are painful. And it's got to be because they're LEDs and they're spiking blue light. Even the red light is spiking blue light.
Yep. We talked about that as a Cree type of product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would like to believe that, I would like to believe that it's just people not knowing and they're just making a mistake, and it's just something where, we didn't know, and when we know better, we'll do better, right? But I got to tell you, for me, this all looks like it's by design. And when something like this is by design, when everybody's been told that you're going to save money by putting these lights in your house, right? You're going to save money, so that's how they get you. And because you're going to save money, supposedly, now we get to expose you to the exact thing we need you exposed to all the time.
Sure.
You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that an LED light needs to spike blue light, especially when it's supposed to be in one of the more warm and relaxing tones. You can't tell me that. It's like that's terrible testing in the lab if that's the case. So just looks like yet another thing that's by design and another little small thing that they can claim plausible deniability on. Oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist. Really? Am I? It doesn't make me feel good when I'm under your light. So
right. And a conspiracy theorist is only that until it's proven, and then it's just debunked.
Well, what we've seen so far, the difference between a conspiracy theorist and a conspiracy factist is anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months. And I try to stay on the standpoint of I'm a conspiracy factist. That yes, the world has always been filled with people with bad intentions for their own gain, and that we're just in another iteration of that. And it's sad, but the sadder thing would be, I think, to know something's wrong and not explore it and not do something about it once you figure out what's wrong. And that's where Healing for the Ages, the 4 docs come in. We're not just going to sit here and go, oh, this is terrible. Oh, well, we're doomed. No, we're going to go in there and go, okay, this is terrible. Now let me show you how to do something about it every single time, whether it's cleaning the water, whether it's using, grounding as a tool to deal with 5G. And now whether it's, figuring out what I got to figure out is, what lighting to recommend to people for their homes so that you can actually turn your circadian rhythms back on and keep them in balance. And I think once we get there, I'll probably be a week or two away, but once we get there, I'm going to feel fantastic. And I'm going to be like, the more people we can share this information with, the more people that can take advantage of the simple things, like this, the harder it is for these nefarious, game plans to really come into play. And I'm happy to be somebody that gets to thwart that, you know?
Well, why not? I mean, you don't have a self-interest in this other than making people feel better.
Right.
So why wouldn't you listen to it? No matter how crazy it is, the flat earthers are crazy, but yet people are listening to them. I mean, no one's fallen off the earth yet, but hey. Right.
Yeah. You know, hey, I believe in absolute sovereignty. People can do whatever they want to do. I also believe in full disclosure. And I think that's what has not been going on in our world for at least the last 100+ years when it comes to health, healing, medicine.
Oh, for sure.
It's like there's so much dark stuff that goes on. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to live in a world where that's our norm and we accept that. I want to live in a world where when we learn something that's going on that's really bad, we learn how to deconstruct it, and we learn how to show people how easy it is to change things. It blows my mind, Tim, that the CDC is reporting 50 to 80 million Americans have some major sleep disturbance, and we're not looking at our lighting at night. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like the most obvious place to look, especially when, have you been driving and somebody is coming up behind you in a new vehicle, and it like hits you in the rear view mirror, and you're like, and you squint and you're like, wow, I wish they'd turn off their high beams.
Yeah.
But their high beams aren't on.
Yep. All the time.
You know what all that is a blue spike. What you're feeling when that's hitting your mirror and reflecting, all that is a blue wavelength spike coming off of that LED. It's just an LED.
Have you tested that with your meter? Like, say someone's coming up behind you and it reflects off the mirror and you test it from the mirror?
Yep, I have. And it's just a blue spike.
Now, in the blue spike, what nanometer range is that reading?
You know, I don't have my meter in front of me right now, but it would be, let's see.
Roughly-ish.
Oh, my God. I don't even want to, I can tell you exactly. Hold on, let me pull over real quick and see if I have one on my phone. Because I took a couple of pictures of these, so let me see if I got one right now.
So you got the blue spike coming through your back window, and then you got it hitting the mirror, and then it's hitting the mirror to your eyes. Now, if you haven't noticed that even the new cars now don't use mirrors, they use rear cameras.
Right.
So how would that affect it?
That off. That I haven't tested yet, because I turned that camera off in mine, and I turned off too. I took out the so here's a blue spike. The blue spike range would be in the starting as low as 390 up to about, so I'd say it's pretty safe to say the blue spike range will be between probably about 420 and 480 nanometers.
For the people out there that aren't nanometer friendly, your standard laser red LED flashlight pointer doohicker is going to be 600 to 630 to 640. No more than 640. Just so you know.
Just so you know. But yeah, I as far as like, I will, actually can turn mine back on and test that and see what's coming off of it. So I'll do that at some point this week, Tim, and let you know. But
technically, you're not seeing the light. The camera's seeing the light, which is reproducing it through the review mirror, which is also like a TV screen.
Right. Yeah. See, I turned my camera off. My vehicle has an ability to turn that off.
Nice.
And just use it as a standard camera. So I do that. I also pulled out the global positioning system that was in the vehicle as well.
Yeah.
They've put in, the GPSs, they put in now there's 2 and 3 GPSs in here. So, you got to really know your vehicle, go and look at the schematics and start pulling stuff out, or else they're just they're going to know where you are at all times. And what's even worse is that when they know where you are at all times, you're going to have EMFs typically underneath your seat, kind of frying you. Something I haven't done yet that I've been wanting to do, Tim?
What's that?
Those self-driving vehicles that are all over the place now? Yeah. Me and my son were saying I'm gonna go get in one and we're gonna film and do a whole EMF reading and what's going on, in there. I'm sure it's absolutely bananas.
You're going to have to wear one of those tinfoil jock straps if you want to have more kids.
Right, exactly.
You might look awful weird going around, say, Las Vegas. Well, maybe not Las Vegas, but you got your pointy hat on and your pointy underwear on.
Right, exactly, man.
You might have the police visiting you.
I'm like, what blows me away, like my son was calling me this weekend. He was like, Dad, what's really pissing me off? And I was like, no, what's up, bud? And he's like, they turn everything on. You have to like go in and turn it off. I was like, yeah, I've been telling you that for over a year. He's like, I didn't get it. He's like, they just assume you want every stupid feature on your phone and on this and on that. You have to like go in and turn it off. I was like, yeah, that's how it is now. They have totally taken liberties, with our liberties, and the thing that really is galling about the whole thing is, where's the health study? Where's the environmental impact study? Where's the study showing that this is safe? Oh, wait. Oh, you just tested it on a human being for 10 minutes. And you deemed it was safe. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all somebody's going to be using it for at a time, right?
It didn't grow a third leg, so we're good.
Right, exactly. You didn't cross that LD50 threshold. You didn't die, so therefore it must be safe. All right. Well, that's logical. Not.
Well, but we don't own the technology. We just rent it.
Apparently, at high dollar. Right. Apparently that's what we do around here. I mean, I just got a new computer. I got to log in every time to Microsoft.
Right.
Just to be able to use my own computer that I paid top dollar for.
Yep.
It's like, wow, I wish I had better news for people, but I mean, like, folks, if you aren't paying attention to what's going on and make sure you learn what we're teaching you. But if you don't know how to do it, you're going to get swallowed. This whole crazy technological age is going to swallow everybody up, and it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't
it? It gets to the point sometimes of disheartening. We were talking last time about Secretary Kennedy, and of course him and Jay Bhattacharya and Mark Makari came out today, and they did a video saying that it's been the shots have been removed from the recommendations for healthy children and for pregnant women. This is what they're saying, right? And so they came out and did this video on it today, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's it. Now we're winning," and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you do realize that they released in a paper on the New England Journal of Medicine what constitutes a healthy person. You do realize that basically no one in this country qualifies as a healthy person. And you do realize that for kids, that is going to get thrown right out the window in states like California and New York and places where it's mandatory. It hasn't been taken off that childhood schedule. It's just something where they're saying they're not recommending it anymore. And it's like, just ban it. You know what would let me know that you are not recommending it anymore? Just banning it outright. Can we do that? Tim, is that possible? Is that something that our government has the power to do, is to ban something that has killed like a lot of people and injured even more? Is that possible?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know anybody can answer it. I don't even know if the government can answer that.
Oh my God.
So you got to sit back and go, really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you answer it?
I answer it in the affirmative of saying, yes, I've read the law and says that, yeah, we can. But, I just want to, I personally just want to hug this entire country and give everybody a juice box and a blanket and say, let's go lay down for a couple of months, including the evil people. You don't get to stay up doing stuff. Yeah. Everybody just go and lay down, forget it. Everybody needs a nap time. right now. Let's all just do nap time. And when we wake up, let's start a list of what we agree on. We all like clean air, right? Okay. So let's make sure our air is good. We like clean water. Let's, you know what I mean? And just start building, from there. But,
well,
man,
out of all the people, dude, you've got the most love to spread. And I got to hand it to you because I don't know if I'm that loving that you are.
Maybe I am, and maybe I'm not. Depends on the day. Depends on the conversation that is preceded.
We've had a lot of conversations, dude. You're always right there.
Yeah.
I'm always the cynic. I'm always the, hey, what's the plan B here? What am I not seeing?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, anybody who wants to celebrate this as a win is not reading the fine print. And it's really sad to me how many people, good people, smart people that are on our side are so desperate for a win because we've had so few and far between.
Right.
That they're like, I'm not going to read the fine print. I just want the win.
Yep. At all costs, no matter what.
And I get it. Right. I get it. I get it. And I just want the win too. And I got to tell you, brother, I want the win to mean something. You know what I mean? I don't want it to just be a thing.
A political move.
Where. Yeah, and that's what.
How about
that's
a
what all
human
these
move?
have been. Can we do something for team humanity? Right?
Yeah.
Oh God, but maybe they are building to something even bigger. I doubt it. This feels like they're going to mollify the base and let the moms go, yeah, they took it off the schedule. No, they didn't, moms. Go look.
Well, don't lose your center because you're my yin to my yang, and I need your calibration to stay out of the total cynic valve because you bring this whole light thing coming up, and it's like, this is positive. The show just sucks this up. I mean, the people who listen are like, yeah, this guy's on track. But I'm always that cynic. So don't ever lose what you are because we appreciate who you are.
So if I start becoming a cynic, you'll let me know?
I think it takes a cynic to know one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think you've caught me on every day where I've been kind of optimistic.
Yeah.
And I think that now that today is winding down a little bit, and I have to go and now read some more stuff that I really don't want to read. You know what I mean? Like I always go and read the fine print. Why? I'm like, I want to know, like, is this for real or not? But I really want to be able to give RFK Jr. one of the biggest apologies he's ever gotten in his life. I just hope I hope he puts me in a position where I have to do that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the program that you and the 4 docs are playing with so that the people can kind of tune in. Mm-hmm. You had a thing this weekend. It can be repurchased, rebought. Let's go there.
Okay. So what can you do, right? Because that's what it comes down to. You first got to get in the know, and then you got to know what to do. Well, let me tell you what happened, because funny thing happened. I mean, it was kind of scary for everybody else, but it's in the big scheme of things, it's kind of funny. So, Tim, I don't know if you have heard that since I got vaccinated with the MMR when I was 13, that I've had seizures on and off again at different points in my life. Have you heard that before?
I have not.
Well, this was the thing that actually tipped the scales for my mom. When I got the MMR when I was 13, I had to get it to play football, for whatever reason. And I get the shot, and within a couple of weeks, I'm going into acute renal failure, seizures. I mean, it's pretty bad, And so my mom, thank God, and God bless her, put 2 and 2 together right away and was like, "That's the last shot you're ever having."
Wow.
So, and sadly, this is how most moms learn. Which moms are supposed to be able to trust the doctors, but the doctor's lying to you. How would you know? You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be able to trust them, especially back in that day.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have internet. We didn't have, something that you could look up and get. I mean, you just trusted what you were told. So, thankfully I didn't die, even though I was supposed to. And the neurological issues went away for a little bit of time until I got into medical school, and I started doing chelation and started getting a lot of the metals mobilized, especially mercury.
Wow.
Getting them mobilized, get them out of the body, right? And then I had another seizure, and that was a whole funny thing because I went from one thing I thought I was doing was taking a shower to the next thing I know, I'm butt naked laying on my bathroom floor with three firefighters around me.
Oh boy.
And so for me, I don't feel anything until afterwards. I don't feel anything till really afterwards. I feel, like it's just a blackout and then you wake up kind of thing, right? So I wake up and I got three firefighters, taking vitals on me and stuff like that. And I look down and I'm like, so nobody was going to just throw a towel over me or anything, nothing like that. So you get some funny moments and everything, right?
Yeah, you and Jimmy hanging out.
Saturday, we're just hanging out. Hey, how y'all doing? Right. Keep on looking. So this weekend I'm at Dr. Artis's house, and he's in one room and I'm in another. We're filming this thing. We were just finishing up Dr. Ed Group's presentation on the bedroom, which was out of this world.
Nice.
Dr. Jan is on the bathroom, out of this world, way, way out of this world. So good. And we were doing Q&As after each one. So we were doing some Q&As. We were just finishing up the Q&A session after Dr. Group's performance. And then I was about to go on next. And apparently I went into a seizure.
Oh, boy.
And so my whole body starts winding up, and I end up falling off the chair on camera, from what I hear. I haven't watched it yet. I've always wanted to see one, but I've never seen what actually it looks like. So I get to do that one night this week. But Dr. Artis comes flying down the stairs and slides in on his knees to pull me out of the seizure. You want to know what he did to pull me out of the seizure?
The power of Christ compels you?
Close. Very, very close.
Okay.
He had heard in medical school when he was studying Chinese medicine that one of the things you could do to pull somebody out of a seizure is to bite down on their pinky on a specific point called heart 1.
Really?
All right. Well, this would be heart 9. This would be heart 9. To bite down on the pinky and it will pull somebody out. So he had said for his entire life he had always wanted to try this out. You know what I mean?
Today's
and he had
the day.
never had the opportunity to do it.
So you woke up
in
and your fingers in Brian's mouth, and you're like kind of weird, right?
Right. I woke up and this dude is biting down on my pinky finger. But it pulled me out of the seizure.
No kidding.
So it worked.
Yeah.
So we proved it. We proved that what those crazy Chinese people say works.
I hope you washed.
Yeah, right. That's what I was like. I was like, you lucky I washed my hands before I had a seizure, buddy. So,
I never knew
long
that.
story short, yeah, I didn't know it either, but now I do. Now, if I ever get to use it, I can't bite myself when I'm in a seizure. So, but obviously we had to postpone the last two sessions. So I recorded mine on Sunday, and Dr. Artis recorded his today. So those will be up and available for everybody.
On the website of?
So we're really excited about that. We got everything recorded, everything in. So I got to do my whole presentation on light. Dr. Artis got to do his whole presentation on the bathroom. I can't wait to watch his presentation. But the thing that's really, really cool, there was so much love thrown out. Like, I got so many texts, so many emails from everybody watching. Everybody was so beautiful. And I just want to again say thank you to everyone for being so concerned, about me. I'm a veteran at this now, so it doesn't really faze me too much, these kind of things. But I can appreciate how it can look a little weird, with somebody like head turning and then falling off a chair, and then to have Dr. Artis come flying in and slide in on his knees and bite a dude on the finger. Like, what are you crazy voodoo doctors doing? Well, you're looking at it.
The paramedics are taking vitals, and Dr. Brian Artis is chewing on your finger. Hey,
Exactly. No, get his blood pressure. I'm doing my job. You do your job. Everybody will be fine. But no, it was really beautiful. If there was one place you want to go into a seizure, it's somewhere around where Brian Artis is. So he has, and especially at his home where he's got some extra cool stuff to help you out after he pulls you out. And you know what the cool thing about it though is, Tim?
What's that?
Because I've had a couple of seizures since we've done the grounding work, the grounding sleep systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had like 2, maybe 3 seizures since we've done that. Before the grounding sleep system, it used to take me about 3 weeks to get my nervous system back online.
Okay.
It used to take me like 3 weeks to like go from like I had a seizure to then back up to full capacity.
Sure.
And I mean, the first week I wouldn't be able to do more than 25% of what I normally can do.
Oh boy.
But now with the grounding sleep system, the very next day I'm back at 100% capacity. So I was able to record, no headaches, nothing like that going on. It was just like, oh, okay. It was like the next day. The biggest problem I have is that I landed on my shoulder when I fell down. So I'm kind of nursing that right now. Yeah, no, one of those fun things.
You have to call Bill Lindahl about the pool. You're the pillow guy. Maybe he can put some extra wires in there for you.
Exactly. I think I needed some extra pillows around me when I'm in front of a computer. But but the cool part of all of it is what we're teaching. And I think the message to everybody, what we're teaching works. What we're teaching, the grounding, it helps the nervous system recalibrate. And now with this next thing that I'm going into, with the lighting, we get the grounding, we get the water right, we get these things right for people. We have thrown a major monkey wrench in their plans, and I'm excited to be able to do that every single year.
So this is on the Healing Aged websites, correct?
Mm-hmm. Healing for the Ages, yep.
And use promo code HUTCAST, and you can get a recording of these 4 doctors playing all kinds of really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Am I on the right page there?
Yeah, you're going to get what you get is you get 30% off using HUTCAST as your promo code. You get access to all the replays. So that's going to be 4 presentations, one with Dr. Jana about the kitchen, one with Dr. Group about the bedroom, one with Dr. Artis about the bathroom, and one with me about cleaning the whole vibration of your home, really starting and spending a lot of time. We focused on light and how to use light to be a healing modality within your home. So you get all of those, plus you get right now 2 Q&A sessions. The 4 docs are going to record the other two Q&A sessions sometime in the next week. We're going to give everybody a chance to fill some questions out and send some questions in for us so we can answer those too. But the big message is, in the bathroom, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff where you're going to be able to go and look in your bathroom and go, you know what, that's no good for me. Let's get it out. In the kitchen, same thing. Dr. Janet crushed it in there. Bedroom, same thing. And then with me, you get to spend some time learning about, wait, maybe LEDs aren't the way for me to go. LEDs, compact fluorescence, these are not the way for us to go. And what do we have that's better?
Yeah, what's left?
That's what's exciting about that. Well, there are still some incandescents, right? And we're going to see more of that coming online. I know earlier this year, President Trump removed that moratorium, that ban on incandescents. So we're going to see some more of those coming back in. So, I'm excited to go do a little bit more homework and see if I can find maybe some companies that are back online. Like we found a couple that we think are good. But again, Tim, I ordered the light bulbs and they just didn't arrive in time. So as soon as they arrive, I'll be doing a lot of testing, and I'm sure we'll do a follow-up video for everybody on that as well.
So let's talk about your meter. Tell everybody what you got.
I got a BN 320. Did you get the text that I sent you?
I did, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I got a BN 320, and it is a spectrometer and and illuminescence meter. I forget exactly what they call it. Yes, it is made in China. I'm not wild about that, but I couldn't find one made in the USA that was even close to what that one could do. And it shows you, and I take screenshots of it, of everything from the sunlight to the campfires to sauna space. We did a thing on theirs, to LED lights, to headlights, I did so much testing in the week leading up to the conference that what became apparent was we are using LEDs, and LEDs are spiking blue light, and that is not a good thing at night. And so we were able to see the pattern and find the pattern really quickly. But it's a BN320. I got it off of Amazon. And Brian loved it so much, he went and bought one too. So, we're nerds. Like, this is what we do. We are just we're supernatural nerds.
Well, that's okay. Guilty as charged. I get it.
Guilty as charged.
You can't argue the science. Heck, I sent you the picture of that nuclear fallout meter, radiation.
Right. Yeah, I'm getting that.
And I've been trying everything with it, and I just can't get. The only thing I get to move is tritium. Some of the weapons have tritium on the sights, so they're like night sights. And that's what I can get my meter to move a little bit. Other than that, I've been having a hard time getting it to work.
Well, that's maybe a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe means there isn't just a whole lot of fallout,
Well, that's
anything like that.
Yeah, we don't want to be. And I want to try it. We're doing when they're doing TIG welding, and there's all kinds of stuff I want to experiment with that meter.
Let me put it like this, Tim. If your meter is going off crazy, I'm terrified. That means there's something very wrong, and we just can't see it.
It's probably because mine's made in China too.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
The U.S. one's made by Fluke.
What are you going to do?
And the Fluke one, which is the U.S. made or German made, I can't spend $9,000 on a meter. I just can't do it.
I love Fluke, but you get these people who are like, if it's not a Fluke meter, it's not good. I was like, I got a double M420 for my multimeter. It works just as good as any Fluke I ever seen. What are you talking about? I had people telling me that some of my test results were couldn't be trusted because it wasn't a Fluke. And I was like, all right, you go ahead.
Well, dude, there's some truth to that. In the car business, everybody comes in with their Mac meters or their Snap-ons or all the the high dollar ones that you pay stupid money for, and then we plug them into our stinky little Fluke, and we can read their meter, but they can't read ours in the Mega Ohm series. And they're like, "There's no way." I said, "Dude, there's a reason."
Yeah, look, I do agree that Fluke is the Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I just don't agree on little things like I'm using a voltmeter, right? Like, I've got to believe that my double M420 is equipped to be able to handle basic voltage output, in a specific range.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it can't, then my God.
Three past decimal points. Nobody needs that kind of. Is it 14 or 14.2? No. I don't need 14.2658449er.
That means nothing extra. That didn't help me at all. I got somebody sent me an oscilloscope that I'm like, yeah, you have a lot of confidence in my abilities.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll learn how to use it one day, but you do realize like that's me sitting down for an entire 2 or 3 days just doing this.
Yeah, crash course.
So I kind of figured it out. Right, yeah.
Well, Healing of the Ages, we've got this down. We are pulling 4 to 6 minutes into this excellent conversation. Thank you again for having that. Is there anything else you'd like to send them to the website or anything?
Let's see. I'd say go to healingfortheages.com. If you haven't already gotten in with us, this year's Virtual Solution Summit is a great place to get in. I would encourage them also, Tim, to go and check out our previous Virtual Solution Summit last year on earthing and EMFs, as well as our 2 conferences that we've done as well. You know, the Healing in the Age of Bioweapons in 23 and Cleansing the Causes of Cancer. You know, there's just so much information that we have packed into there, and not just information for the sake of information, Tim, information that with solutions, because that's our whole mantra is I'm not going to teach you something if you can't do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of me making you scared? And, you know, if a meteor's coming to wipe us all out, you'll never hear it from me. You know, it's just, what's the point? But with all this stuff that we've been learning, the coolest thing in the world is that there are solutions. They exist in nature, and nature is the thing that these nefarious actors are having the most difficult time overcoming. And it tells you how strong Mother Nature is, God's divine design really is.
And for the record, Hutcast, any promotional money gets into the Hutcast mode. You save 30%, goes to the charity of Ages of the Healing's Choice. So for us, it's a win. If you sign up under this, then their charity can get whatever they want out of that.
We love it. You know what our charity is?
What is it?
We invest in, we have what's called Healing the Injured. We have that. So we've been supporting people who are injured by these shots recovering. We've been supporting them for, now we're going into our 3rd year of doing that.
Nice.
And so far we're very proud of this. It's a very modest amount. We know. And I'm not saying like the number is braggadocious, but we've donated close to $100,000.
Wow.
To people all over the world, helping them heal, making sure they're getting the supplements they need, making sure they're getting the education they need, make sure they're getting the support they need, because that's really what everyone recovering needs as much as anything else, is just knowing that somebody out there really cares about them.
Right.
In many cases, the government has completely abandoned them. So,
right.
So Tim, thank you for that. That's where that money will be going to, directly to support people who are in need and recovering from the injuries due to these shots.
How awesome is that? I appreciate that. I didn't know where it was going. I knew that you guys would have some plan for it, and I thought, hey, you know what? I trust you to do what you want to do with it. I don't even know if there's much or any, but if there is, this is where it's going, and it's a good cause.
Amen, right? And one thing you'll never see me in is a yacht. You know, so
yeah.
You don't have to worry about us misusing, misappropriating, or anything like that. This is what's so good about these docs. These docs are in it for the right reasons. We do this because we love doing it. We love teaching it. We love sharing God's medicine with everyone. And we love that we're able to help more people in ways like this, Tim, with partners such as yourself. We're so grateful for you.
Well, I'm grateful for taking the time again on a crazy night that you're busier than snot on. And we're going to save this off and get it transmitted right away so you can do your sharing and it's possible, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Well, Doc, thank you again. And for Hutcast, you heard him. Go to the website. Check it out. All proceeds go to their excellent choices. Okay. Thanks again, Hutcast. We're pulling the pin, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
And that's a wrap for Hutcast. Hutcast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for Hutcast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.